Hey, and welcome to Adventures by D. You're joining us tonight for our first Creators Corner. This is Dave's idea, his dream child. He's wanted to do it for a while, where we invite some of the folks we know in the community and we highlight their YouTube channel, and in this case, podcast channel also for our first inaugural co-host, right, that we're going to have.
That's right. And before we get to our special guest, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the content, and leave a comment. What's going on this weekend? You got big Memorial Day plans? Let us know. We're going to talk about our plans here as we get into the live stream. And by the way, it's been a minute since we've had a live stream, so
That's right.
We may be a little out of practice. We're just busy with family things and filming some stuff, which we're going to talk about. We have some special vlogs coming up. So with that, without further ado, let's bring in our very special guest, Tom from Vacationeers, Theme Parks, and More.
Howdy. Welcome back. Or I guess welcome back to me. It's so good to be back on one of your live streams. Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to be on. No matter what we're talking about, I'm always in. Although sometimes, Dave, you get in the woods with some of your Star Wars talk that it's too deep for me. But I hope tonight's episode isn't about Star Wars.
Oh my! Oh man! If Dean was here, he has the countdown to what's
Obi-Wan?
premiering. Yes, coming in just a week.
Yes, we will have Obi-Wan. We will be just for you, Tom. We're going to do the Obi-Wan feedback series. Reactions, the word I'm looking
for.
So.
Yes,
coming soon.
All right, let me make a note. Tom does not want to come on the Obi-Wan.
Well, I can come on. I watch them. I just don't. I can't talk intelligently about Star Wars, like in the different lands and different people. It's just too much. I can't keep track. I watch everything. I just don't. It's more of a casual watching and not as intense as others who who live it. So yeah, I do appreciate.
Welcome to the Tennessee Bear. Tim's another great channel, and he comes on live on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I watch him quite a bit. So thanks for joining. Welcome in, Tim. We are here doing Creator Corner. Chris, you're trying to say something.
No, I was going to say, so in this house, Tom, it's not just Star Wars, but it's Marvel and DC. And God forbid you can't crosswalk all the timelines and the characters and when they all show up, because I get ridiculed on a regular basis by the kids. So not as much him, but Dave, but the kids. They're always like, what do you mean you don't remember the 1600th movie with the 700th character introduction? And so
you guys don't do. You don't do any Marvel feedback stuff, right?
So we haven't done it. We haven't done as much. They're both fans of Marvel.
Madison is an expert, probably. I would say, in a lot of it.
We have to get Madison on here to do some reactions. We watched all the Marvel stuff too.
Yeah, she's a big fan.
Yeah. I do like Marvel, and I might be able to talk a little better about Marvel, but probably not too much more. Can I just point out that we're all wearing HHN shirts tonight?
That's right. We're going to talk about some of our favorite things. So this might be one of them. Halloween, the holidays are always very fun on both of our channels.
Love it.
So,
love it.
Are you okay if we start, Dave?
Yes, please start, Chris.
Okay, so Tom, let's start with the name of your channel. Vacationeers, Theme Parks, and More. And you started with the podcast. You have a podcast first. It's a long name. So you want to talk about that? Like how you got into it?
Yeah. So I created the podcast, Vacationeers, Theme Parks, and More. Vacationeers, I just came up with the word. It's not, as far as I knew, it wasn't even a real word. And I wanted a title that kind of encompassed what the podcast was about, which was really just about vacations, but we're also huge fans of theme parks. So I threw that in as well. It's quite a mouthful of a title for a podcast name, but I decided to go with that just in case somebody would stumble upon it. They'd be like, oh, what is this about? Because it's not really just about theme parks. It's not really about just vacations. It's a hybrid of the two. And I wanted to get that across in the title, which Vacationeers podcast probably would have been just as good. I doubt anyone who had stumbled across Vacationeers podcast would have been like, oh, I don't know about this, and just walked away. I don't know. But so I did that. And then after I made the podcast, that's when I created the the YouTube channel, and I didn't want a long YouTube name. So then I just cut it down to Vacationeers Podcast. So yes, my my podcast and my YouTube channel are different, regrettably so. I didn't do it. This should be like what not to do when creating social media content, because honestly, I didn't give it much thought. Even the podcast itself, I originally created it solely as a passion project to talk with my family and to get closer with my son. So it was never designed to be commercially successful. Like, you normally you pick something and you stick to that, either theme parks or cruising, though you're going to become much more popular in that route rather than something just, encompassing just everything. Like basically it's just us going on vacation and talking to other people who go on vacation, no matter what that is, whether it's a cruise, theme park, beach, foreign country, it doesn't matter what it is. If you want to come on and talk about it, I'm all ears. I love vacationing. And, I don't know how many other people, hold that kind of interest when they listen to the podcast. They seem to, the numbers seem to indicate that they, for the most part, listen regardless what it's about. So some numbers get more than others. Like we had John Self on, and I think he's in the chat right now.
He is in the chat. And that was a phenomenal 2-part podcast you did. He was a great guest.
Those numbers, those spiked our on our podcast. So, those are very popular episodes. And then, so that was a long answer for a very simple question of how did I get the name. But yeah, so the naming, I wanted to be descriptive. And then, like I said, I didn't want it to be as descriptive in the YouTube channel. So I shortened it. So yeah, it's confusing a little bit, but I think everyone kind of understands. Vacationeer is a pretty unique name. So I think, that having that in both titles, bridges the gap more or less. At least I hope so.
I want to say welcome into some folks that joined since we last took a breath here. Hey, welcome in Keith, BDF, Carol Karkey, John Self, Tennessee Barrett, Tim's been here. I think I got everybody. We are talking with Tom here from Vacationeers, Theme Parks, and More. We're starting our Creator Corner series. Going to have on some of our favorite channels and fellow creators here and just ask them about their YouTube journey, maybe sneak in a tech tip, and then talk about some of our favorite vlogs and why they're our favorite vlogs. So Tom, thank you for that. I wasn't sure how you got to the name myself, so that was interesting. So how do we fight, Tom, Chris?
So I was on a school trip, a chaperone, and we went to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. We're in the Atlanta area. And on the way back from that trip, on that long bus ride back, I said, I listen to all these Disney podcasts and I listen to Universal podcasts. Like, does anybody podcast Busch Gardens, Williamsburg? And so I searched it up and there was one person. And it was Tom and his sister and his son that podcasted it. And so I started listening. It's several years ago now. And then at some point, it was probably a year and a half ago or a year ago, at the end of each podcast, Tom says, hey, if you want to come on, feel free to reach out. So
we
one day
we didn't think you really
Dave's like, what are you doing? Don't email. Like what? And I said, no, I'm gonna email. And I had been a reviewer of the podcast, and this is what I remember. So they always ask for reviews, and so I did. My name was KD_KD, and like nobody knew. You guys thought it was a guy. You guys thought it was funny from King's Dominion. It was very funny. So when I wrote Tom, I said, I am KD_, so he knew.
Yeah.
So
Fire Gamer, welcome in. We're family-friendly theme park vloggers, and we do a lot of family-friendly stuff around Atlanta.
Actually, both channels do.
Both channels do.
Yeah.
Vacationeers, Theme Park, and More. And I should say, Tom's link to his YouTube channel and his podcast channel is in the description below. Trying to get Tom's YouTube channel up to 500 subs. He's pretty close now. So go over there, check him out, and consider subscribing.
So, Tom, how long have you done the podcast now?
2017.
A long time. So you're 5.
We were getting ready to do the Coaster Radio meetup. And right after the meetup, we were going on our first cruise. and I figured it was a good time because I was thinking about doing it. And I actually started a movie podcast as well. And then I had a different one that I don't promote. It's a bit blue, so I stay away from that. I don't let anybody know that's me, but I've stopped doing that since. But so that's when we started doing it, because I figured it'd be a good idea to chronicle our cruise and the Costa Radio meetup, because that's always a good time. So that's when we started. I think it was near the fall or late summer, and yeah, we've been going ever since. We don't have a schedule really. We just do it whenever we have time and when it strikes us. You know, sometimes you get a little burnout on it, and then you take a couple weeks off, and then you realize you miss it, and then you want to get back to it. Like currently, I think we're at least a 2-week stretch, but I was sick 2 weeks ago, and then my sister came down last week, and she was in town all week, so I was out with her eating and going to the different parks, and so I'm very, very busy. And oh my Lord, and trying to get Joanna and Ian and to sit down together to record something, forget about it. We're in 3 different locations, and it is so difficult, so difficult. So yeah, we do it whenever we can, and we just have a blast. We love it. The podcast really is or at least my first love. If I had to choose between the podcast or YouTube channel, I would go with the podcast, because that's where it all began, and that's what I really, really enjoy doing. And not that I don't enjoy doing the YouTube channel. I love doing that too. But that was just basically an offshoot of the podcast, like supplemental to the podcast. I did the YouTube, and that's the way I thought about it for the longest time. And then I don't know, about a year ago or so, I put a lot more time into the YouTube channel. And then, you know, sometimes life gets in the way, and, you know, it took the back seat a couple times throughout. And I think beginning of this year, I wasn't doing a lot with it. And now I'm picking up the pace back up to get up to 500 subscribers, then 1,000, then 1 million. And I'm taking over the world. So we'll see.
So Tom, do you remember when you started your YouTube channel?
I don't.
Should we look?
Yeah, let's. Oh, I did you know what? The
September
YouTube channel,
5th, 2017.
the YouTube channel, the very first video is a YouTube edit of the podcast, of the very first podcast, Cruise Radio. Wow. The Costa Radio podcast. So episode 1 of the podcast and the first YouTube video are one and the same. Well, I mean, I did a different edit. It was more concise on the YouTube video. I can't remember what I did. I think I did voiceover of the podcast with video in the background for the YouTube. I believe that's how that worked. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, can you explain your style of YouTube channel? Because you have a very kind of distinct style in how you do videos. Now, Tom, first of all, let me say, Tom does a lot of ride POVs, and you have for years. You have historical POVs on every place you've been, and you probably just naturally recorded it, I'm guessing, and then put it up for fun. So that's pretty amazing. But do you want to talk through some of your style?
And let me just say, first of all, I only do POVs of parks that allow POVs to be had. I don't do any POVs if I'm not permitted by the park to do so. I used to do POVs. I used to record. I mean, I used to take video recorder to the parks when it was just the family and I, before I started anything. I have actually home movies that I've put together with music in the background of our vacations in 2010, 2011. To me, like, making those videos for my children and their children and their children, like for years to come, so they could put on video and watch us, you know, at Busch Gardens in the summer of 2010. Or I think it was Amusement Park Adventures was the first video I did, which was in 2000. I don't even remember. 2007. I did a video, and it basically video I shot throughout the summer of Busch Gardens and King's Dominion, of the family and I at the water parks, at the theme parks, and I put music behind it. So I used to always record, not for the sake of putting it on YouTube, but for my family, for me to personally have those memories and to put it together in a concise, little video that maybe someone would appreciate later. Now, that time has yet to come where anybody appreciates any of my videos, but I'm sure 20 years now, someone's going to look at one of those videos and be like, oh, I'm glad he did that. Right now, still not the case, even though it's been about 20 years. But yeah, so I started doing that ever since we started going to parks. I did that for the sake of the family. So luckily for me, when I started doing a YouTube channel, I have a lot of content that I recorded, not for the sake of, releasing, but just because for me personally to have. So that's great. And maybe someday I'll release the 2000. See, the thing is, I use copyright music because it was never intended to be be on any channels. It's just for the family. So I'd have to redo it, I guess, with not copyright music. I don't know, but yeah. So my style, I don't have a style. Like I said, the YouTube channel was a supplement to the podcast. So if you look at some of the early videos, any of the early podcast episodes, it was just the podcast audio with some video accompanying it, and so you can watch POVs. I mean, that's just comes naturally to me because I used to always take POVs anyway. And I just walk through the park and talk. It's kind of like a live stream without it being a live stream, sort of.
You're a walk and talker.
Yes. And I'll walk and talk through the entire park, and then I'll come back and just edit out anything that I don't feel brings any value or of any interest. So I mean, that's the plot. It's like it's a nice live stream without the downtime, I suppose.
And I always think if I was with you, you walk so fast, it appears. Like when Busch Gardens Williamsburg, you started talking and you're like already done an entire lap around the park, and it's quite a big park. It's so funny to watch you. And then when you've done like this past summer when you went to some various parks like Cedar Point, you were booking it. Like people were running and you were walking as fast as they were running to get to one of the rides.
Well, I will say with both channels, if you like variety, I was just looking at your channel while Chris was sharing the screen here. I mean, you've got everything from Hawaii across to Dollywood and everything in between. So that's something, if you come to either of our channels, you're going to get great variety.
And it's interesting, Tom, what are your most viewed videos? Do you know? I have an idea of what they are, but what?
It's funny. I stopped. I used to keep track of that. I had
used to do a thing on your podcast about it too.
I stopped doing it. I've stopped. I don't know. I guess I could go to the channel. And
you have a video from Halloween Horror Nights 27 or 28 of the Chucky Scare Zone. And as of
18
this morning or so, I think it was at 14,000 views. I want to say.
Yeah, and that's literally just a point and shoot of the show. Like there's no, I don't talk, I don't do, like it's just the show. That's it. I know Hawaii does very well. The Hilton Hawaiian Village, there's 2 Hawaii videos. I know those both do very well. People still watch those. In fact, I just got a comment on one the other day. I was chatting with someone who just got back from there, and oh my Lord, it's so good. Love it.
So look at this. You have 16,000 views on your Halloween Horror Nights 28 Chucky Scare Zone. Your Hilton ones, like the walk and talk you did, walking around the resort, 8,000 views from, when did you go? June of last year, right?
Yeah, it's my birthday. Yep. Yeah, almost a year ago.
And then Dave had been commenting on this a couple weeks ago. Your Omega Mart has over 5,000 views that you went to Las Vegas.
Well, they're making an Area 15 here in Orlando. So maybe people are watching that to get a feel for it.
And then interestingly, your Journey to Atlantis POV, which we watched, I feel about 6 months ago. It's hysterical because you guys get soaked. But you're like, what's going on in this thing?
Well, look at that. His top 10 videos, something different.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, your Holiday World video, we did one too. I don't think ours did nearly that at all. No. Like, that's so interesting. Like ours, nowhere close. And then the Myrtle Beach that you went to last summer also has
Funplex
views. Isn't that interesting? So
I don't know the rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Outside of the Halloween Horror Nights, a lot of this is just in 2021.
Yeah. A lot of the, like, if I release something for Disney or Universal, typically it doesn't do well. There's just so many people doing it, and they're doing it better, quite frankly, that why would you watch me? But maybe some of this harder to, some of this more nuanced stuff. you can't find. So.
But I will say, because you've recently moved to Orlando and your channel is taking on somewhat of a different focus because you're down there and able to visit a lot of the parks, both your podcast and your YouTube channel. You're covering SeaWorld really well, which people don't really cover. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't get the numbers of Disney and Universal if you watch popular vlogs, but I feel like that's a niche for you because you know Williamsburg, you know the food, you know Tampa, you know SeaWorld. It's very interesting when you're covering that. You come from a level of knowledge that most people don't have, and so I really enjoy them.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I enjoy the SeaWorld entertainment parks in general. It is interesting though. Like I literally was walking through Epcot Friday night, and they have their was it the Flower and Garden Festival going on now, and they have the booths going. And I'm walking through it. I'm like, man, you know, walking through this than like going to SeaWorld. It's really a different type of thing. You know, SeaWorld's definitely more of a amusement park, where Epcot is definitely more an experience. It's more of a theme park. So it's definitely different, but they both have their place. And honestly, a day at SeaWorld with the sample card, it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. You have a good day. Where Epcot, you can go. As far as I know, I don't think they have a sampler, do they? Do you guys know?
I mean, I don't know if they do. I think you could buy the gift, like a gift card, wear it on your wrist, but I don't think they have a sampler card. I think they did at one time, but I don't think so. I don't think they need to.
I was in, no, they don't need to. I was in France and I got two of those slushies. I got a lime and a lemon and a orange slushie in France. $30 for two little slushies. Yeah. I was like, woof, it'd be expensive to like dine around that place. So it's not cheap for sure. So if you're on a budget, SeaWorld, their Seven Seas Festival is definitely.
Well, that's why SeaWorld's
John just said there isn't one.
SeaWorld's a very big park. We went over for their Halloween event, and I forgot how big that park was because we hadn't been since our kids were little. And that is a big park.
Now, of course, our story with their Halloween event is we went in their front gate because there wasn't a sign yet that said you're supposed to go to the back. And so we were in the total front of the park and got to ride a ton of rides because of it and got to see the penguins and all that. And then couldn't figure out where Halloween was. And we asked, I don't know how many, there was no signs in the area of the park we were to figure out how to get to where the Halloween stuff was. That was kind of funny.
Did you guys by chance buy your Friday the 13th 2 for $6.66 or 60?
We did not. I did see it. I saw Busch Gardens Tampa had that too.
Yeah, I got both. Yeah. I looked at the pricing. They have a regular ticket where you can, I think it turns out to be about $100 after taxes and everything's said and done to buy a 2-park one where you get SeaWorld and Tampa or Busch Gardens Tampa. It becomes about $100 per park, where if you buy the 2 for $66.66 and you buy each, you buy 2 for SeaWorld, 2 for Busch Gardens Tampa, it comes out with taxes and everything $80. So you can save about $20 per pass if you did that deal. So I went ahead. I think Ian also,
and it was only on Friday the 13th and ended at midnight. So
well, actually, technically, on Saturday the 14th, I put those tickets in my cart. I didn't, I got through to the part where I put my credit card in. Maybe they had some type of validation to check a date, but I'm guessing they didn't. I'm thinking that you probably could have bought them on Saturday. I don't know now. Maybe you might be able to go on now. Who knows? With SeaWorld.
The SeaWorld Halloween event, which I'm blanking on what the name was.
Hello Scream.
Okay.
Hello Scream.
At the time I bought those tickets, I feel like I bought them for $30 each or something.
Yes.
That their first year was. So I'm banking on the fact that $33 a ticket will come back in some fashion.
They're always on sale. They'll be on sale the whole time. Usually though, the very first sale they offer is the best. Like you might get them for a couple bucks more than what I paid, but it's going to be very close. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I know, the first year I got them for like $30 too, because it was like the first Hello Scream event special deal thing. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. We got our tickets. We are ready to go.
Love that.
Halfway to Halloween.
Speaking of that, we finally got our HHN Scare Zone video up a couple days ago.
He did. Dave edited all our footage. We have so much footage. We could release videos for like 2 weeks straight of all the Universal stuff. But
So if you're hurting, you want to see some HHN.
we put it out there because historically it'll be something we'll want to look back.
Oh yeah, everyone will want to watch it.
So
Which one is it?
it's all the different scare zones. Day
Oh,
and
it's
night.
all of them. Oh, I'll have to
Bring
check it
up,
out. Yeah.
Chris. Can you bring it up over there? I'll let you drive.
I'm not 100% sure my channel even put out for HHN. My HHN videos don't, I mean, outside of that Chucky video, don't do really well.
Oh, I'm not sure. Sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen. Did you stop sharing?
Yeah, I stopped sharing.
Oh, see,
for a
I
second.
didn't catch it.
So it's right. It's like the third. It's on top. We just released it 5 days ago.
Here.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
So
have
it's
to check
got a
that out.
day and night of every scare zone. I think I don't have the day of one scare zone, but other than that, all 5, it's got day and night. And the night Chris shot in low light, and it was the night stuff's on opening night. So there's a lot of stuff going
There's
on.
like 3. It's like over 3 different visits that all of that was collected. Our intro though sounds like it was all for the first night, but it was 3
That's
different
awesome.
nights of
Yeah.
aggregated filming.
A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff.
And then Dave was like, "Oh my gosh, this person or that person's in your video." Like, and I don't. When I'm going, I don't pay attention to if I'm going to know anybody because I'm assuming I'm not. And apparently, people buy all the time that you should know or that sort of stuff, and I don't realize it. So, what are the odds? I guess the odds are pretty good. If you're in a theme park, you might know somebody. I just assume I'm not going to. Like when you're wandering around.
Yeah, I assume the same. I assume no one's going to know me, and I'm not going to know anybody else.
So I'm not paying attention to anybody. Just the experience is what I'm there for. So
Yeah. Well, you're in the moment, right? Because usually you're filming or you're live streaming. It's like you're busy, thinking and doing stuff.
Before we get to tech tip, Chris, you want to talk about then we'll go back to Tom. Before I forget, the Stuckey's Six Flags vlog here.
Oh, so Dave had reached out to Stephanie Stuckey, who's the CEO of Stuckey's, which is probably, if you're of a certain age, you're going to remember Stuckey's gas stations that you visited that had the pecan log rolls and lots of tchotchkes and rubber alligators, and they're all across the United States. So she bought the company back in 2019 and is trying to revitalize it. She doesn't own the gas stations, but she owns the candy making plant and is working on building the brand. They're profitable now. So Dave reached out to her. She's here in Atlanta and around Georgia. And he actually did a vlog on Stuckey's and the history. So he went down to where they started and all that stuff. So he reached out to her and she said, "I'll come with you. Where do you want to go?" She was so nice. So we said, "Let's take you to Six Flags." And so we went, and she hadn't been since a teenager, I think she said. She hadn't been in years. And so she just got a big kick out of going and remembering we went on, and the video will kind of show you some of the rides we went on that she went on in her youth that might have been a little different, and kind of taking her around the park. And she talks some about her company and kind of where she is. She's a phenomenal lady. So
she was great to work with.
Yeah, she's great. And she's definitely out there trying to get her name out, and she's in every trade publication. Follow her on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. You will be amazed. It's both. I think she goes by Stuckey Stop on most of those social medias, or Stephanie Stuckey on LinkedIn. And then there is a Stuckey's Pecans also for like the stores themselves. But we had a great day with her walking around. That was. I didn't have it on my bucket list, but if I'd had a bucket list, we just kept thinking she's going to cancel, right? Like, like no, she didn't. And we had a great day. So it was a fun time. Hopefully we'll get to do something with her again. We had talked to her about that.
Welcome into Space Mountain Dave Cantrell and the Hitchhiking Bones. Welcome
it's funny. That video, Joanna actually, she texted me and said, "Hey, check out the new Ventures by D. They're a Stuckey's person." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I looked at it and I watched the video. The whole time I watched the video, I'm thinking, because I'm Southern gas stations and in those like those shops. Stuckey's to me was the same as what's the other big one? Buc-ee's. So the whole time I watched that video, I'm like, "Holy cow! This is the Buc-ee's CEO. This is insane." And then I'm watching, and then I talked to Joanna later, and she's like, no, this is Stuckey's. This is a different place. I'm like, what? There's a place called Buc-ee's and Stuckey's? And I Googled it, and yeah, sure enough, there's a Stuckey's and a Buc-ee's. I'm like, oh.
So,
I
Tom, growing
no
up on
idea.
car trips, you guys never came across Stuckey's. They were like gas stations, and they had like eateries where you could get lunches, and they had milkshakes and lots of like tchotchkes you could buy. The original place of all the tchotchkes, I would say. Like, I remember it. We did cross country road trips, and I remember.
Like, what states?
Like all over.
All over. At one point, they had
a couple hundred stores, like everywhere, from like probably California all the way down to Florida. Yeah, like all over Texas, and there's some in South Carolina now.
How far north?
A handful now.
Virginia?
Probably.
Oh. I'd have to look up what the history
I honestly,
is.
I totally blanked on that being a different place, because I know, Dave's always about the Buc-ee's. He's always going to the Buc-ee's. Different. He's driving to this one and that one and the other one. So as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh wow, he loves Buc-ee's. So this is the Buc-ee lady, and it's Stuckey's. Like, oh, there's two different places.
It's interesting because she talks about, like, she basically bought. She was contacted that the company was for sale. The company had been sold off, and so she bought it back in 2019. She was like,
that's
an
awesome.
Attorney. Yeah. She worked for the city of Atlanta. Like, she'd been in the House of Representatives in Georgia. Like, she was not a business owner of a candy making company. So she's learned so much kind of going into it, but she doubled down on what works for them was the candy. And so they're basically getting back to their roots and they're known for like their pecan log roll, and they have nougat and like these candies that for folks that know kind of know it. And so at one point, Dave's talking to her. I have this on the video, just a few seconds. And Dave's like, exactly what's nougat? And they're like walking. And so she goes, well, nougat has this in it and this in it and this in it. It's funny. And it was very interesting talking to her because she is building her brand. So she's on all types of social media. She does have a YouTube channel, but hasn't done much with it recently. But she talked about like filming and then obviously running the business and all that stuff. Very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it wasn't on the vlog of what we did.
But I made a couple cameos in that video. Chris was fangirling out. So here, you just see me in the edge of the video, like waving. And
if there was a company for sale that had my last name, I too, if I was in a position, I'd buy it. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, her grandfather started it.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then another thing we did is Dave took me for my birthday to the Vidalia Onion Festival in Vidalia, Georgia.
I watched that.
And you guys are like, what? So if you guys are familiar with sweet onions, there are a certain type of sweet onion that are called Vidalia onions, and they come from only Vidalia, Georgia, and the surrounding counties. And actually in the video, I kind of show the history of the starting of this onion, and then by law, only certain areas that come from certain soil can have this onion. And ironically, it was very hard to buy the Vidalia onion at the Vidalia Onion Festival. We must ask, I don't know how many people, where can we go buy the onions? And some people were telling us, like, go to the grocery store. And I was like, well, I can go to the grocery store in Atlanta and get the Vidalia onions. Like, we finally found a roadside place that was selling them. So that was it's usually is it the last weekend or the second to last weekend in April? Every year is when they do it. So we went down. Last year we saw it, but we went to the opening of Dollywood instead last year. So.
And that was no short drive. I remember watching the video. You guys said it was like
closer to Savannah than to here. So
it was like over 4 hours.
Yeah, each way, right?
Yes.
But she got to spend quality time with her husband in the car.
He said, and I didn't know where we were going. It's just like, let's get in the car and go. I'm like, okay. He says, we'll leave after rush hour. I'm like, okay. And then we made stops.
But you stopped at the Santa Claus too, and you stopped somewhere else.
There's a Santa Claus, Georgia.
There's 3 places. Yeah, there's 3 places you went, right?
And we ended the night at Buc-ee's, which was we had to back. Yeah. We went to Stuckey's one way, and then we went to the Buc-ee's together on the way back.
Yes. So it was a good trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave's a romantic. Taking into
isn't he though? Isn't he?
Very extremely. So, for those that are just joining, this is Adventures by D. I'm Dave. It's my lovely, talented, beautiful wife, Chris, and we're here with Tom from Vacationeers, Theme Parks, and More. This is Volume 1 Creator Corner. Make sure and check out both channels and consider subscribing to both if you're new. And if you're enjoying the content, give us a thumbs up. So one of the things I want to do on Creator Corner, for those that are hopefully this is going to be interesting. We're going to try to make it and share a tech tip or two about kind of what we've learned on YouTube the last 2 or 3 years. And Tom, what you've learned.
And Tom, how many videos have you done? Do you know?
I know. I have no idea.
Does it say that here?
200 maybe?
Wait, does it say?
No, it'll say under the. I don't think it says there. If you pull up his Channelytics, it might say it. I think, Tom, you've done over 400 videos.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We've done, I guess 236 on YouTube. You're not sharing it, but that's fine. It says on the channel, in our TubeBuddy thing, it says 236 for you. So for us, we've done about 310, I think.
We had something we did originally that we pulled off the channel. So in the beginning, we like concerts or whatever. We just kind of took them. Okay, so tech tip. What are some of your tech tips, Tom?
Oh, me? Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I'm not a good example because I know everyone, including you guys, have the vlogging camera that you go around using. I just use the GoPro because for me it's very convenient. It's just carried around. In fact, this is how I usually go around, like this. If I need to extend it, I can extend it. And this thing has a tripod feature, that I can set it down. I can take it off. Actually, I should go with 2. I left the one GoPro with Ian to use. I still haven't gotten any content yet, Ian, if you're watching. But it's a pain in the butt to take this off, put it my wrist strap, ride a coaster or something, get back off, put it back. So it's a bit of a pain. I do have a nice camera, a very expensive camera that I don't usually use because, well, quite frankly, it's so large. And open it up. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. I don't usually use it. I am planning on using it for Disney ride POVs. But it is very good at low light. It's the Sony standby. You think that? Oh, it's the A7S3. So it's a mirrorless camera. It's a very good low light camera. Lenses are really good too. You buy different lenses for it. Unfortunately, I bought the wrong lens. I bought a very low light lens. It's a little bit too. It's like a 55, I think. It's a little bit too. For ride POVs, it comes in a little bit too close. So I should have got the lower one. I'm talking on my bike. I don't remember what any of the numbers are. I think 35. But this is an adjustable lens that's good. It's not as good as for the low light, but it still does a pretty good job. I also bought a stupid, ridiculous what are they called? Help me out. The thing that stabilizes the camera so it doesn't jump around.
Gimbal?
Gimbal, yes. So I bought this crazy gimbal, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely, once it's put together,
wow,
it's enormous. It is.
How much does that weigh? 20 pounds?
I don't know, but it's stupid. It's amazing. But to walk around with that big camera on this huge gimbal, I've yet to feel like that's something I want to do in a park.
People do it.
I would honestly look like a cameraman, like from a TV station. So I've yet to actually use this gimbal. I've actually thought about selling it because it's quite expensive and I don't use it. At some point, maybe I will. I mean, it's super powerful and it's great. It does everything you need. But yeah, I don't know. And I have another stick for the camera that I can use. So on a ride POV, I could use that where I can use, it has adjustments where I can, turn and stuff. So I may use that. I don't know. I haven't really messed with it yet, but for the most part, yeah, go ahead.
Typically when you walk and talk with your GoPro, because that's what you use a lot in the park, you don't worry about where the mic faces, because with the GoPro, the mic is on the front, but your audio doesn't seem to be affected. If we do it, the audio is kind of wonky for us when we do the front and the back, like when you're filming. So, but yours seems
Yeah,
to be
no,
pretty
I just
consistent.
talk, and I guess my voice carries enough where it's okay. I know I have to know, like, if I ask Ian or Ian starts talking, I gotta I have to move the camera over towards him or whomever I'm speaking with. I am cognizant of that they're not gonna be picked up on, but yeah, I don't know. To me, when I watch those videos of me walking around with the GoPro, to me, the audio sounds fine. The video is great. I don't have to worry about focusing because the GoPro doesn't, these cameras, they have the autofocus. So, if you put your hand in, then everything else is out of focus. The GoPro doesn't do that. It's just a flat image, which is fine for what I'm doing. I don't need, I'm not doing product placement. I don't need to, show the piece of candy that I'm eating and everything else to be out of focus. I don't need any of that. I just need to show what I'm doing. So I don't know. I think it's fine. I have no problem with my video. I think it works out great. Maybe if anyone has issues with, I think it's fine. Maybe it's just me because it's my video. I think it's like, oh, well, I can hear myself. Everything looks great. I don't have to worry about things going in and out of focus. It's fine. So the GoPro to me, it's easy. And it's so easy. Literally, I put this in my pocket and I, walk through security. If I want to go ride a ride, I put there's no big camera case. It's just so convenient to walk around and do these shoots where now, like I said, if I go do Ratatouille, for example, I want to do a really good low light Ratatouille video. I'll take my big camera because, Epcot, what else? I'm not going to be on any big ass coasters. Well, I guess with the onset of the new Guardians coaster, but that's more a family coaster anyway. It's not a big deal. I can take that into Epcot, and I don't feel like it's going to be a burden. Where I go to SeaWorld, if I go on Manta, and again, the camera is pretty expensive, so I'm not going to let it sit in the. I'm either going to have to rent a locker, which is a pain in the butt to rent a locker and then go and get it, or I'll put it in the bin where you put your hats. I'm not going to put this in the bin. So yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I think
you could
more
put it in a bin and give somebody else a really good day when they saw it.
Yeah, for
It won't
sure.
be there when you get out.
Yeah. So for me, definitely the SeaWorld parks or the lower tier parks where I don't need, I'm not doing a in-depth dark ride video where, maybe Disney, I'll go back and I'll reshoot some of the dark rides with this camera. Low light's only as good. Let's face it. Haunted Mansion, I don't care how good of a low light camera you have. It's going to be tough to get really good video footage of that ride. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I have to really give it a shot and play with it more. But I think I will use it primarily at Disney more than anywhere else.
And then Tom, can you share your editing program? Because you use one that I'm not familiar with that you've used for many years.
Yes, I edit all my stuff. I have the what's the name of it? Cyberlink Power Director 365. So I used to use Nero back in the day, and it was a little unstable. I find Cyberlink Power Director really good. It is something you pay for. I bought every year's version for many years, and then they came out with this 365, which is just basically it's a subscription, so you always have it. So you pay an annual fee. I guess it's an annual fee that you pay, and then you just get all the latest updates. So it's no longer Power Director 78, Power Director 79. It's just the 365. You always have it. It's a subscription. So I use that, and I really like it. They have a lot of templates and different transitions you can use, and just a ton of free stuff. And it's very comparable to other editing softwares that I've used, so I can use it pretty well, and it's pretty stable. Again, that has a lot to do with the computer you're working on too. You got to have a pretty good video editing computer to be able to handle it, but I find it works really well, and it is something I do pay for, but it's worth the money for me anyway.
And then your thumbnail game has raised substantially over the last several months. What are you doing there?
Yeah. It's honestly I just take video. I just take maybe a screenshot of a video, some single shots that I take from my phone, and I throw them together with something that might look interesting or appealing. I don't know. Yeah. I used to upload the video and they'd give you the three, hey, here's a thumbnail option. But now I explicitly create thumbnails for the purpose of being viewed like, oh, this is something. So yeah, I do take the time to make a decent thumbnail or something that I feel like would be appealing. And I think it was you guys who once said, oh, thumbs with people's faces are better. So I do when I can throw like at least my face or somebody's face in. Not that I think I'm a handsome face and everyone wants to click to see my beautiful face in the video. However, usually I'm in the video and, most of the pictures I take, I'm in because I'm taking a selfie or something like that.
Now, are you actually there in the thumbnail or do you cut your face out from like previous videos and just stick
99% of the time it is a picture with me in the thumb. Okay. Like the video. There are some where I think the Disney, when I went with Ian, you'll see a bunch of Disney ones with like Ian with his hands across. I did cut that out and I just put that on a bunch of Disney videos. But for the most part, it's a actual picture that I like. Yeah, see the Pandora one, that picture of Ian, Jill, and the one below down. Yeah, well, both those two. If you go down from where you're pointing now, yeah, those two right there. That's the same picture. I just put it. I cut it out. You can see it's Ian with his arms out. Yeah. So
Did
I
you
put
see
that
this, Tom? I feel like I'm on the ride watching this right now.
Oh man, Flight of Passage, such a good ride. Such a good. I did not ride it the other night.
Do you use the same software for the thumbnails or different software?
No, I use the same. Usually, what happens is at the end of the video edit, I process it, then I go back into it, and I'll grab any of the if I'm using a Disney World font or some type of picture, I'll grab that, put that in. Take any still photos that I may not have put in the video, but I took for that day. I'll drag those in. Maybe if in the video there's a cool shot of like, water shooting up, I'll grab that. I'll basically take my thumb at that moment in the video when that's happening. And then I'll put in the other elements like a Disney World or a picture of Ian or whatever, whatever. I'll layer it in to make the thumb. The thumb is the last thing I do.
What do you use to edit your podcasts with?
I actually use the same thing. I believe it or not. Yeah, I'm a hardcore with using that. Yeah, I just drag the audio in and I just do an audio file. So I edit the audio only for there. Yeah.
And then on average, you sometimes put up to 3 videos a week sometimes. I know sometimes you don't, but when you have footage, you're putting out content pretty regularly.
Yeah, I find putting out YouTube video content much quicker and easier than podcast. Like when I record a podcast, I go through it and I listen in real time and I'll edit out ums and dead space. And like if I'm talking over someone or someone's talking over me, and if I can edit it out without it altering the conversation, I will. So it's quite this. It's editing I'm kind of a perfectionist rather with the podcast. And when I have someone listen to the podcast, I want it to basically move. I don't want a lot of dead time. I don't want somebody like listening and just have like dead air or us talking over each other or anything like that. I really don't like that. I don't like when I listen to other podcasts and that happens. So if at all possible, I edit it down to be essentially a smooth conversation where no one's talking, no dead space. Obviously, there is some pausing, and pausing is necessary sometimes for the comedic moment or whatever the moment may want a pause. So I'll leave it in there for that. But for the most part, and you guys have been on my podcast, like sometimes I just go off or I'll try to pronounce a word and it'll take me 20 minutes. I love to do it. Just weird stuff will happen where, obviously I need to edit that out. So I do a lot of editing in the podcast. So to edit a YouTube video is very easy, very quick. I do edit those down a lot though. I think if you notice any of my YouTube videos, if you watch them, my cuts are very tight. Like if I'm cutting, I say something, it cuts, and it's picking right up where I'm saying something again. Like I don't have unless like I'm watching a roller coaster. Like there's a moment where I want to convey something. I don't have a lot of dead time between something I'm trying to get across to the viewer. Because
we've learned something after 300 videos is keep the video moving. Otherwise, people just go to another video, right? That's what I would do. If they're not tightly cut and things start to drone on a little bit, and Like when I'm editing my own video, I'll be like, oh, that's too long. People are just going to leave it. There's no reason for me to repeat myself a third time on this point. Get rid of that. So
yeah. I do that all the time. Yeah, I cut it.
I want to say welcome into Surf Bum John and also Garfield Pez. Welcome in. We're Adventures by D. This is Volume 1 Creator Corner. We have Tom on from Vacationeers podcast. And so we're talking about a little bit our YouTube journey. We talked a little bit about tech. Chris, you want to talk about a little bit about our main camera we use?
You can go ahead.
All right. So we use the CV1. We don't usually record on our phones. We have a GoPro. I use it mostly for POVs when it's allowed in the parks. But we ponied up after doing it for about a year to what I would call a real vlogging camera. It's a Sony ZV-1. And we can talk about, I don't know if we'll have time to talk about the obnoxious double mic we have, but this is a camera. It's a Sony ZV-1. It does have the monitor, which you need when you vlog, obviously. And then it comes with its own little vlogging stick. So I don't need a Manfrotto with this thing. It just screws in. And
it gives you the ability to hit record or zoom on the stick, which I really like. And I find it's easier for me to steady it with that stick than to not have it. So
does it have software to keep it from bouncing?
It does have an active shot, and it has 3 settings for the active shot. So most times we keep it on what's called steady, which it crops the picture some.
Yes.
If I put it on a tripod, then I will put it on, I'll remove all the active shot because it'll give a little bit more of a wider shot. I wish if I turn around and do a first person, it is too close to my face. And I know it is, like we need a wider angle, but that's, another time for...
But even on active shot, just to be clear, the stabilization is nowhere near as good as the GoPro.
No, there's very rare you're going to see us walk and talk and show you video. We might show ourselves I do a lot of walking. I wasn't in the military, but I was in marching band. I can walk very smoothly. I can play an instrument very smoothly for years, all the way through college. I can handle, but it'll still 2 hands, whatever, it's still too shaky, this camera, for that. So every once in a while you'll see us, but there's so much footage I have to cut of like showing something as we're walking up to it, because it's just a little too jerky for my taste. I mean you could use it. So it's 4K. We shoot in 4K. It has different features, so you can turn on low light. So if we go in certain things, we could turn on low light. Is it the best low light camera? No, but it's a heck of a lot better than anything else we have.
It is not waterproof, unlike the GoPro. So like when it rains, that thing goes away.
We have a waterproof bag that we put it in inside of our backpack. If it's
the GoPro, that's why I use a GoPro, because you can walk with that GoPro and it is heaven. I mean, it's beautiful. Now, the GoPro is waterproof and it has great stabilization. Low light though, it suffers. Yes. It really suffers. I mean, your phone will get better low light quality video than that GoPro, 100%. So I do. My software can do low light. Like I can edit it to make it better. But yeah, GoPro's low light. No, right now it is like, I have what is this? 9. I have the 9. So 10 came out. So I don't know if 10's any better. Is that 10?
It is a 10 because our 9
9
broke, and we have a plan to replace it.
How the heck do you
Thank God,
break it?
You could drop it. And great question, because we've dropped it several times, but this sucker, it did it.
It didn't fall off a coaster. It didn't. We were eating, and it just fell off a little rail about 3 feet and cracked the screen.
Really like something that you wouldn't think. But
Wow.
And so when we replaced it, we got the 10. It has the 10 can film in 5K, so there's a difference in filming, but everything else seems to be the same with it from the 9.
Yeah, the stability for a GoPro is just stupid good. I mean, it's that's why you buy a GoPro, like, because if you're on a coaster or you're skiing with it or whatever, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, the low light.
Like I did a few videos I tried of like sights and sounds. So I did it of Six Flags. We did Atlanta Botanical Gardens. There was 1 or 2 other things of just walking with this and kind of just showing. And I was curious because that's some of the stuff I want to do, is just kind of showing without talking, and just kind of, because it's beautiful what it can do. And I choose the one that's linear. I don't choose the wide because I think it morphs it. So we've tried all different options. We use it too. We have a mount for the top of our car, so we'll use it sometimes when we're driving to kind of get footage.
The mount on the car with the GoPro, especially if you're shooting Christmas lights. Pro tip,
really well. That's
a beautiful, stable shot.
Yeah.
We did that in Helen, Georgia, driving in the opening shot of that video. We've got the GoPro mounted on the car. I mounted it so you couldn't see the hood of the car, and that thing is so stable. We're driving right down the middle of Helen, Georgia, which is beautiful, lit with Christmas lights. That was a pretty good shot.
Yeah, we've used it for. At some point, we'll get into 360s. We're not there yet, though. As I research it, I don't think it's quite where we want it to be for the money. So I think it's soon. My dream is to film some. We love the Christmas stuff, and I'd really love to do a drive-through or a walk through Christmas where you get 360 all the lights at some of these places, so you can kind of get a feel for it. I think that'd be awesome.
And that CyberLink Power Director does have you have capability to offset that effect the GoPro has. You can pick a GoPro, the thing, and it'll straighten it out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome in Arthur Harris,
and then,
one of our big fans. And yes, we will do Up and Away next time at Six Flags.
We did. We actually do have it on vlog. I did it with Madison, about kids' rides at Six Flags a few years ago. But the other thing is mics. So Dave said, we'll talk about this for a minute. We have done some different mics with this camera. This camera comes with a mic. The mic's okay. We have an issue with our family that we have multiple people we're videoing with. It's a family vlogging channel. I go, Dave goes, the kids go. We usually want to catch audio from one or multiple people. The mic on the camera wasn't working. So then we did a Rode mic, which is a great mic, but it's one directional, unidirectional. I
have that.
So I had it facing forward.
Most people use that, yeah.
And then I had to unscrew it to put it to the back because it's not always. I'm not always filming myself. I'm also not always filming this way. Family is to the side of me, in front of me. I'm trying to capture so many things that Dave had been investigating. So he went with this. Is it Deity?
Yeah.
Or Deity, Deity. And it's a front back mic. It actually records both channels at the same time. Then in your editing, you have to split the channels and then edit them independently. So you're actually duplicating the audio and putting left and right, and also it's a lot extra steps in the editing. And then you have to decide whether you want to minimize the front or back.
It adds to the editing, but you get rid of the frustration. Oh, the mic was turned the wrong way.
Now I know, like, if he talks, I can catch him because I can't. And how many times I was taking the thing off and trying to turn it the other way or trying to get audio of somebody in the family because they're sideways and I can't get them. Just if it was just me vlogging, it's a lot easier of a thing. And when you're hearing me, I tend to film a lot with this. I tend to be the one that does a lot of the filming, more or less. Not always, but if we're all together, I usually have it. I would say not 75% of the time. I don't know. Dave will tend to walk around with the GoPro.
I would say the ZV-1, the GoPro, we have both, and it makes for a good combination.
Yeah.
One's weatherproof, the other one isn't. The ZV-1's not super stable. The GoPro is. I'm going to say the ZV-1 has, for our money, a little bit better audio than the GoPro. But I know, Tom, you have less an issue with audio than we do with the GoPro. So maybe we're just not. Maybe I'm not speaking up. Chris's voice booms on there.
My voice is much louder than his on it, like naturally, and so. When you put us both on, you got to kind of like alter it for each person. And it's interesting in all the editing of that to see all those pieces.
I think my audio is fine, but maybe it's not. I mean, I don't know. When I edit it, it seems okay, but maybe it's not as clear as other videos. I don't. It seems okay. I mean, it seems passable. Let me put it that way. Like I don't watch it, I don't edit it, and I don't feel like, oof, I need to do something about this. I feel like it's good. So I mean, yeah. And then it'd be weird to have a big mic on a GoPro. They make them, but yeah, it'd be strange.
Yeah, and we've you can, but then I'm trying to figure out how the mic actually works because really it's a waterproof casing, so I'm not quite sure how it, or if it just connects to the outside of it to capture. I don't know. We've looked into it a little bit, but Dave loves he does the wrist mount or the chest mount for the GoPro. What do you do for GoPro? Is it wrist mount?
I do wrist mount now. I used to do chest, but the wrist for me has always been better because I can adjust it as I want. Where a chest, like if I'm on a ride or a coaster and something's happening to the right, I gotta do a weird turn to try to see it. Whereas my wrist, I can turn it or I can switch it swivel it back so I can talk into the mic. So yeah, the wrist I find is much more convenient.
And so you want to mention what software we use quickly, and then we can.
We use Adobe Premiere Pro for editing, and then Adobe Audition if I have to do extra things with sound or loop music or things like that.
Is that paid? You have to pay for that?
Yes, it's paid. It's monthly fee, and then we use Canva for the thumbnails and some other social media posts.
Sometimes I use PowerPoint.
Oh.
Yeah,
I go lowbrow, but yeah,
I do use
Canva a lot.
I use GIMP a lot to, like, if I grab an image and I want to cut out the background or whatever to use in one of my videos. GIMP is it's great. It's free, so it's really good photo editing software that you can use. That's free. So
cool.
There is a learning curve. Like, nothing is easy. You can't do anything easy in that. It is a pain, and you'll have to Google to figure out how to do it. And you have to do it like 5 times before you actually get to where you actually be able to do it without Googling it. But once you get down, like, I can take out a background of anything. Like, I've learned that, so I'm good at that. There's a lot of other things GIMP does that I have to Google anytime I want to try to do anything other than that. But it works good for what I use it for.
We have iPhones, so we actually started with the Apple video editing software, which I'm blanking on the name of what that was when we first started.
iMovie Pro,
iMovie or whatever.
iMovie.
But it was super easy to use. It has a lot of features I wish Adobe Premiere Pro did that Adobe Premiere Pro doesn't. And when we switched to Adobe Premiere Pro, there's a big learning curve. We're still learning. Like, there's so much we don't know.
There's so many nested menus in Adobe Premiere Pro.
They edit videos with Adobe Premiere Pro. I mean, it is like a high end. There's a lot of features with it. We're learning all the time, which makes it fun because then you try to think, can I do this? And then you try to figure out if you can. So yeah, it's been fun.
So Tom, what are let's move away from the tech talk and talk about some of your favorite vlogs that you've done and why they're your favorites, and then maybe we'll head towards wrapping up.
Okay. Yeah. I love anytime I'm in a park, I'm walking around sampling food or drinks, some type of an event. To me, that's really my favorite. And I would like at some point to live stream that type of thing, like go to an event and live stream us sampling all the stuff. In
fact, we've said to Tom, his vlogging style is such, we think it would be very easy for him to move to live streaming because he pretty much is that way with his filming. Yeah,
it is just hard because I like, even when I live stream, I do live streams for my channel, but it's just me sitting here and I have someone, like a guest, come on and we talk. Even that is just like, I trying to keep track of chat and what I'm doing and making sure what I think is being shown is what is actually being shown on the screen. It's unnerving. And to actually be in a park when I'm not 100% sure of, if the Wi-Fi is working or, the internet's working, because down here, it's a rough go. Verizon has a rough go down here, at least like near my condo. And anytime I go anywhere in Kissimmee, I can have a rough time, trying to get Waze to work because the internet is just not the greatest. So there's just so many worries about that. I'll probably be by myself or maybe with someone who's not techie. So, I wouldn't have any support as far as trying to keep up with, the chat. And I think it's very important, at least the live streams that I've ever watched, interacting with a chat, because that's really why people are watching and typing, as you're talking. It's very important to, communicate with them, because otherwise, why are they watching? They hang out, they could just leave and watch it later, when it's not live. So I feel like I'd be very worried about trying to do all of that by myself. And then just the life of the camera, like the battery life. You have to have a battery backup to record for multiple hours. And yeah, it seems like a lot. Whereas I can go in with my GoPro, I can walk around, record some videos, stop recording, go to the bathroom, come back, record some more, do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about watching chat. And then I take it back, edit it, send it away. And it's a nice finished product where, it's perfect. And I can edit out the parts where, some stupid idiot, says something racist or is wearing some shirt that's inappropriate for being in a park. That just happened at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Some dude was wearing, I don't know, he had the F word on his shirt. Like it's huge, like something like. And he's at the Food and Wine Festival at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, walking around with this shirt. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're dressing to go to a park where there's going to be a lot of children. This is the shirt you chose to wear today. Like all the shirts you have that don't have the F word on it. You could have put one of those on to go to an amusement park on a Saturday. Like, yeah, just like that, like stuff like that. If I was live streaming, I would be super annoyed if I accidentally caught that guy in my camera view. So,
yeah, you
anyway.
never know what's going to happen on a live stream. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to say I've done it enough. A lot of people do Disney live streams three a week, but we've done enough live stream from parks that, you know, the gimbal will crap out or you don't have your phone balanced right. And that's what happened to us
Dave
on
like
HHN.
puts the thing out, tests it for 7 days, like all these things. He's good. And then he shows up and he hits the button and it doesn't work. And it's every time it's like, what has happened? Like, it's in the research of like months of, it's so funny.
And then you have to,
it's funny. He doesn't think it's funny.
Then you have to keep it together for the people that are on your live stream to keep them entertained and not get all fly off the handle, get all mad, and then readjust the gimbal or that's been my biggest issue. If I get the gimbal working, I get the phone balanced. Normally the phone battery's pretty good, and as long as the gimbal's working, you know, there's things happening in the park, and I've got cell signal. Then it could be a great live stream. You know, like Dollywood, we've had some good live streams. It's just places in the center of that park.
You can't go.
You can't go because there's no cell signal. Where else have we live streamed? Kings Island was a pretty good live stream.
We did done Wild Adventures.
We did,
several times.
I've done Wild Adventures in Valdosta. And, you know, during these Halloween and Christmas events, you know, if you do it at night, you have to stay in the lit places, obviously, if you're using your phone. But it could be a lot of fun if there's activities and there's a lot of bands playing or people doing drums or whatever the activities are in the parks. I do enjoy doing the live streams, you know, as long as there's, you know, things to look at. And obviously you can't get on the rides unless you're at Disney. So you have to find some other way to entertain people on your live stream.
Most of these places where you can outside of Disney, you can't. Yeah, you can't go on the rides with the camera. So we follow those similar rules, Tom. That if they say you can't, then we're not going to because we're going to respect your rules. So
what happens when you? No, you got it right. Wild
Adventures. Yeah, they've let us film, and then
but when Dave did that, not only did we have special exception, they had a safety person come over. He had to have a certain harness. They had to verify certain things. It had to have 3 points of connection, and then they walked Dave to every ride and made sure he was on it and watched him on it, and then walked him off. Like it was a very Dave in that video says like very specific permission. So
stay tuned for more Wild Adventure content. We're going back soon here. So we haven't been down this year, but we'll be going back here shortly. So stay tuned to the channel for that.
We talked to Six Flags, right? We asked them about it to, you know, that we would love to video on the roller coasters. You're not allowed, but we would like to. So
I will be attending a media event for Six Flags this week, and we are going to be able to film on Python Plunge, their new 5-story water slide at Six Flags Whitewater. So I'll be filming that this week, and the vlog will be out at some point towards the end of the week. We
did ask, and they even said, please send your tech and all the things you use. And we said we would get, you know, certified, and a safety person can check and anything. It's so interesting because like, and even the difference between the Busch Gardens parks that in Williamsburg, you have to have a tag saying you can do it. But in Tampa, you could just go on whatever you want and film.
SeaWorld, same way. SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Tampa, as long as they see that you have it strapped on something, it's fine. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg, you actually have to go and have someone look at it to make sure that it's safe. But I mean, they don't even look. It's in half the time in Williamsburg lately, at least. Don't even look for that. Like, they don't even ask you. So I don't know. It's hit or miss. Williamsburg is a strange, strange place to record.
I get the idea for safety. I don't think you want somebody holding their phone out and they're going to go down a big thing and it's going to fly off and hit somebody in the face, or, you know, like, so definitely wanting to make sure that whatever equipment you have.
Well, you'd think, I mean, it's the same company, so you'd think they would have the same policy throughout all their parks. It's weird that Williamsburg alone says you have to go, and before they actually get a supervisor to come out and like inspect your gear. But now last couple times I went, it was just the person who was there and they just wrote the ticket and gave it to you. Like, they didn't even look at it. Like, so I think it's becoming more of a just here, you have to do this. But honestly, we're not.
Which,
really
Tom, it's interesting because Six Flags did tell us, like, it's not just our park, it's all parks. So, yeah, they want to something that's for everything. Just our beef is some people are videoing on these rides and they shouldn't be. So I'm concerned, like, if my kids are on it and a phone flies off in their face or something. So
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what SeaWorld Entertainment does. Maybe that's why they allow it, because then people aren't trying to hide it, because, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, somebody's still going to try to use their phone, I suppose. But at this, I mean, I don't know, have your phone out, holding your phone on a coaster just seems like a terrible idea. It's just, I would never, on any decent coaster, I'd never assume A, the footage would be any good. B, that I'd still have control of that phone by the time I'm off that coaster. A couple inversions, I'm going to lose track. It's going to slip out of my hand. There's just no way I'm going to have that phone. And even if I do, best case scenario, I have crappy, jittery footage that isn't any good for anybody to watch. That you're gonna get sick on. So I don't know.
You know what's funny? I wish that some of these new rides like Disney, like Guardians of the Galaxy or Rise of Resistance, that they didn't allow filming on those things, so that it was a surprise for people that maybe Disney releases the footage, then other people don't put it up. But
you don't have to watch it.
Rachel has a question. Welcome in, Rachel. Thanks for joining. She asked if we've been to Fun Spot in Georgia or Florida.
So Madison, my daughter, and I went to Fun Spot this past summer in 2021, and we do have a vlog up about Fun Spot Atlanta, Fun Spot, Georgia. It's 20 or so miles south of downtown Atlanta. It's not really in Atlanta. It's in a city, Fayetteville.
Not too far from the
go-karts. I'm going to tell you, I know they're building a roller coaster. This is their claim to fame right now on all their socials.
They're building a massive
roller coaster.
Yes.
But they have a ton of go-karts. And when my daughter and I went, we got there at opening. We got to ride all sorts of go-karts almost by ourselves, and they let us go extra long. We had a really, really good time. Part of the park is old. It has very old rides. And they have the go-karts. They had some bumper boats. That big roller coaster that they're putting in, it's going to be their claim to fame. I don't know if they'll charge separate to go in or not. It's like $20 or $30 to get into Fun Spot Atlanta.
They made a big splash at IAPA, and it's coming along. I've seen other people's pictures that have recently been by, and they're making pretty good progress on it.
Now, Tom, you've been to Fun Spot. Have you been to the Kissimmee one?
Yeah, both Kissimmee and Orlando. Yeah,
Orlando.
Yeah.
What did you think
those
of
are good
them?
parks. Yeah, they're nice. Obviously, they're not theme parks. I mean, they're little parks. They have pretty good coasters. But yes, they have I don't know, 2 or 3 go-kart tracks, and the go-kart tracks are multi-level. I mean, they're not your spin around in a circle go-kart. I mean, they're really, if you like go-karts, these Fun Spots are where you want to be. They are good, and they actually have amazingly good coasters. They only have 1 or 2 each, but really good coasters, super fun. And I went as part of a go-kart. I did the Orlando go-kart, so I had like a 4-ride sampler, so I could go and ride any 4 attractions as part of the go-kart. So I used that to go in. And that was a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, they are a fun time to go to and check out. Something different, diversion from your other stuff.
And the other thing I'll say is Fun Spot Atlanta had a really good funnel cake. It might beat the Carowinds funnel cake that Joanna talks about all the time.
So, Tom, what do we have? People come over and check out your channel. What do you have coming up, or what recent vlogs do you want to mention, or what do you want to plug?
I just edited King's Dominion, the new what is it? I don't know, expedition, or I don't know, jungle expedition area of King's Dominion. I edited that together, so I'll be releasing that soon, maybe tomorrow or the next day. I was getting ready to edit. I just recorded a little segment with Josh, Kennywood Josh, that I will be putting on one of my podcasts before I did this. I was getting ready to edit that, and the finished product of my King's Dominion video was there, and I got rid of it. And then I thought to myself, after closing it and not saving it, oh, did I create a thumb for this video? Now, it's not a big deal. I can create a thumb pretty easy. But yeah, I think I still need to create a thumb for it. So it may be a day or two before I actually get that out. I have ride POVs of, I don't know, at least 2 rides I've ready to go. They're sitting in my ready to release folder I have for my YouTube channel. And I actually don't know what else I have, what other content I have that needs to be edited and put together. The Lakeland Antique Mall, that one, it took me a while to get that together and get that out. But I did get that out, so I'm happy about that. But yeah,
you put John's self on video, so he wasn't just a podcast, but he's
that's right. We did a top 3 with John, which was absolutely fantastic. He's always a fun time to hang out and talk with. He's a fountain of information, even when you're not on a podcast with him. Like if you're just hanging out at a park, it's the same thing. It's just information overload. It's wonderful. It's great. So yeah, next time he's in town, we're gonna do another one. So that's gonna be great.
I see John on Twitter. He does lots of articles for different publications, and he's on various podcasts and stuff. And he does food reviews, and I don't even understand how he eats as much as he eats when he covers. He goes down and he does serious coverage of the different types of food to let you know what's available.
Yeah, he'll eat.
Did you have the crepes at Universal?
Yes, yeah. We had a savory one. We had the brisket crepe, which I wasn't 100% sure I would like it because I've only had the sweet ones, and it's the same crepe. It's the same crepe. It's still so it was really weird, and it was really good. I that would definitely, without John saying this is what we're getting, I would have not gotten that for sure, 100%. And at the end of that video, there's a secret way to get butterbeer soft serve. So watch that video. There's another place in Diagon Alley. Yep. Yeah, where you can get the soft serve, not in the normal place. See, that's what I mean. I'm so bad with names. Like I could never be on a Harry Potter podcast. That one place. Yeah, no.
I'm getting better with names because I have to be for the video descriptions, right? I'm always afraid if I misspell something or call something different, God forbid, somebody will let me know on YouTube. So I'm getting better because I'm 100%. Looking up the descriptions of everything when I do them.
You know what word I've learned how to spell that I've never could spell before? Caribbean or Caribbean. I never knew if it was 2 R's, 2 B's. I just never knew how do you spell it? But because I've written, or because I don't know, Royal Caribbean, I don't know why I've written the word Caribbean so many times, but I now know how to spell Caribbean without any fail. There's 2 B's, 1 R.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yes. Thank you, John, for the name of the face to get the I tell you, John, 100%. You could put anything on Twitter, like say, hey, at John Self, Pastor John Self. He'll reply night, day, doesn't matter. That dude is on Twitter. He's amazing.
I was amazed that John all day is twittering all the food he's trying inside Universal Orlando and Islands of Adventure, and then writes, "Hey, I'm going into City Walk for dinner" on Twitter, and I was like, "What? What?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
How is that possible? How are you also eating it?" No, you might only be eating bites of things, I'm gonna guess, but
I don't know. When I met him, I expect him to be like 12 feet tall because he's not a big man. He's not a large dude. When you're eating that much food, you're like, that dude's got to be huge. No, I mean, I think he is taller than me. John, you're 6'2". He played basketball, so I think that by default makes he's at least 6'2". But yeah, he's a taller dude, but he's not all that much taller than me. Yeah, I could not eat the way he eats for sure. There's no way.
That's kind of
I'd love to, but I couldn't.
Your last 2 vlogs and your podcast, you covered food at both SeaWorld and Tampa Bay, and you were eating with like your nephew and Joanna and your sister-in-law and like a big group, and you guys ate a ton of food. Like I couldn't believe it as you guys were sharing what you ate.
A lot of food. Now, granted, in April, I ran 100+ miles, so I needed to.
And it was like, you guys are so full. And then it's like, let's get this really rich ice cream cone. And then let's have a competition to see who is going to eat it first without throwing up. Like, it was like no one could eat. And then suddenly the kids they're not.
Yeah,
kids,
yeah. I
they're
triggered a
20s,
competition
like,
between the kids, and they just went insane. I'm like, what the hell's going on right now? I couldn't believe it.
Hey, Danny,
Yeah,
welcome.
moments like that is why you do it. That's why, like, little moments like that. That's why you do it, right? Because it just fun moments that, even like when my I guess sister-in-law Carol was on the water rapids ride, and I mean, she got hit by that stupid wave and just got totally drenched. At the time, like, she was not happy, but I guarantee you, looking back, the stories that will be told about that and reliving it, it can't be beat. And we have it on video. It's in that vlog, her getting smashed by that wave. So it's glorious. Yeah, it's heaven.
The water rides are usually video vlog, like
Gold.
manna from heaven. Those are great for video.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yes, yes.
The anticipation, somebody's going to get soaked. Yeah, those are.
Yes.
Any water ride. They're all awesome.
What's the water ride you've gotten the most soaked on, Tom?
Oh my God.
What would you say?
You mean per ride or total? Because I rode the ride that many times.
Per ride, like one ride, and you got so soaked that. Because I for sure know ours.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it could be either the Universal IOA rides. I mean, those I always get soaked on those. I tell you, SeaWorld, Infinity Falls, I get drenched in that ride. I don't know, and just unlucky or what, but I get smashed on that ride. And that one doesn't have a waterfall. Like, it doesn't cheat. Like, there's no, like, hey, at the end everyone's getting wet because there's a waterfall. There's nothing there that will instinctively get everyone wet. Like, you have to hit a rapid in the right way to get wet on that ride. And hands down, I always do. So it has to be that. Either of those two, I think. Yeah.
I think ours.
John's. Yeah. Those two. The IOA, they're comically, they get you wet. Like it's a joke. It's like, yes, you're getting wet, and not only getting wet, we're gonna soak you to the point where you think you're wet. Oh, you're not wet yet. We're gonna get you even more.
Like, I've got wet before on Splash Mountain at Disneyland, but I got soaked to the bone at Bluto's Billboard barge.
Disneyland.
Oh my God. That was literally the ride we got off of, and bought a Universal Orlando towel. We were that wet. Like, we bought the towel, the $20 towel. And then we paid to go in the family dryer, which didn't work. We were so wet.
Wow.
And then the second wettest we've been, I feel like, is in California Adventure and their raft ride. Because
Grizzly River.
We left to go change right after.
River
I think we did it, and then we had to go back and change in the hotel room. Like, that's how wet we were. But
I'll tell you, the
most barge thing. Holy cow!
The most surprising was Splash Mountain, Disneyland.
Oh,
I had no idea I would get that wet. I got soaked. I was like, oh my Lord, this is not like
front?
Disney World.
Dave sat in the front.
It didn't matter. I think I got soaked no matter where. I think as a whole. No. I'm trying to now. I'll have to watch the video. I have video of it. Go to the YouTube channel.
You have two where you're like in the front, and one where you're like your daughter's in front.
Oh, I think that's the one where I did two. Yeah, I did front. I shot the inside parts were the front video, and the outside were the back video. I think I did a combination for that. Yeah, I do remember doing that. Yeah.
So this reminds me, we've done both channels here. We've done a whole series on Disney World versus Disneyland rides, because I'm about to say, in Disneyland, you sit single file in Splash Mountain. In Disney World, you sit two in a row. So if you're interested in the arguments between the Disney World rides versus Disneyland, between our two channels, we have 4 vlogs just on all the.
And Tom has the footage up side by side of each of the rides, so you can see the time length of each of them at each park. It's really cool. He has some great footage.
We should do another one of those for sure.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should. There's still some rides we haven't talked about.
Oh yeah, plenty of rides.
And in Splash Mountain and Disneyland, like the water inside the raft, it's like on the floor and at your feet. And if you have a bag, oh my God, there's so much water in that little raft.
Yeah.
I guess log flume. I guess.
All right, Chris, what do we got coming up, or what have we recently done we want to talk about here and make sure everybody knows about? You want to talk about the two? I will talk first on the two upcoming live streams.
You do that.
So the first one is Obi-Wan Kenobi. We are so excited. So Dean and I usually talk about Star Wars reactions on these different series. Tom's excited for it. It's going to be coming up this weekend. We usually give it a day or two to give people a chance to watch, and then we give them a spoiler alert. But trust me, Dean takes a deep, deep Star Wars dive. So deep, I have trouble keeping up with him. But I've taught him well. The Padawan has now become the master.
17-year-old has more knowledge than you do, I think, right? Like, it's
When is
unbelievable, his knowledge. He crosswalks plots between. He should be one of the people that works for Star Wars to make sure they have the continuity of the plots and the characters. That's how well he knows it. It's crazy.
When do episodes 1 and 2 premiere?
27th, episode 1 and 2 back to back on Disney Plus, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So they usually drop in the middle of the night. For us sane people, we get up and watch it with our breakfast, but I know they drop at 2 or 3 a.m. Eastern
Gotcha.
Standard Time. The next live stream, we're going to have Kelly on from the Mickey Bunch, so we're excited about that in June. She'll be volume 2 at Creative Corner, and we've been on her channel several times. Really enjoy Kelly and James Ryan and her children, and looking forward to having her finally on our channel. So hit your reminder for that.
And Dave asked a long time ago. She's been so busy, we couldn't get her on. So at the time.
Yeah, she's got a great channel, a lot of variety in her channel too. So the other big thing I want to talk about, and then I'll shut up and let Chris talk about, is the Stranger Things filming location video premiering tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this video. If you've done filming location videos, you know that that's something you can't just take a camera out and start filming. You really have to, make a plan. And Stranger Things is one of our favorite series. It's on Netflix. Season 4 is starting also on the 27th. So these are going to be filming locations for season 1 and 2.
Oh.
That's right. Dave and Madison did it over several weekends. They went to a bunch of different locations. So it's very cool to see some of the places. Some of them look exactly the same and some don't. So, and they put side by side with some of the footage from the movie. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, since Stranger Things is season 4 is premiering very soon.
And then you want to talk about your origami experience at the Atlanta Botanical Garden?
Yeah, I went to the one of the premier gardens in Atlanta, is the Atlanta Botanical Garden. And I happened to go there a couple weeks ago, and they were doing an installation for, it's called Origami in the Garden is what it's called. And I saw it going in. So the video is actually showing some of the pieces half installed, and I think we'll probably end up going back and seeing it in all of its glory with all the plantings. But unbelievable to see these sculptures or installations of what would look like origami, but they're 20 feet tall and plastic and metal, and it's super cool. So that's what the vlog is, just kind of walking through and showing you this origami installation, which I would have never, ever thought to do. And it's probably the prettiest thing I've ever seen there. They've had some amazing things, but it was really neat to see.
Did you ever feel fear for your life from the origami animals?
No, I didn't. They didn't come to life.
Okay.
But, and I actually got to see some of it being installed. That's a little bit on the video that they were putting some stuff together. And
talked about HHN. We talked
we
about
did.
Vidalia.
We released, hot off the press, the Halloween Horror Night 30 Scare Zones day and night. We have a lot of footage that's going to be coming out that on some different things. We're going to have some different weeks that premiere themes of like Universal for a few days in a row. And then I think we'll probably do potentially Dollywood for a few days in a row and some things like that. So we have, or Pigeon Forge, and things to do around Pigeon Forge and places to eat. So we'll have some items coming up in the next several weeks that'll showcase different areas.
Well, you impressed Karki by your origami sculptures.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know we're members, and I hadn't read my email that it was being installed. And afterwards I was like, this is origami. What is this? And then I'm leaving and I look it up and I was like, oh, coming now, in 4 weeks, it's this origami thing. So they took weeks to install it. So
I think the last thing is that we did, since our last live stream, we do have a brand new channel trailer that we worked hard on and updated. It needed some updating, and it's
fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It shows all the parks we went to last year.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
doing different filming of the different parks, and we'll probably add to it as we go. So there's some places we didn't do it that we should have. but it's definitely a passion project of Dave's. So we have to make sure we get that done. And we'll have other stuff too, where we're talking to Tom before the stream that we hope to make it down to Universal.
Yes.
So the kids are so busy, hence family vlogging channel, that their activities have kept us from really traveling away from Atlanta. So we're hoping, and their summers are going to be pretty busy, but we're hoping to be able to do that. I mean, we'll always cover Six Flags. So we'll be doing that. And Dave's going to be doing their water park here.
Yeah, I'm doing the water park this week. Going to be getting a POV on Python Plunge. So appreciate Six Flags inviting me out. Looking forward to that. That should be some fun.
Is that the where the floor drops out?
No, it's a 5-star. It's a 5-story like saucer. It's got 3 different saucers in it. It's a water slide. So I don't think any floor drops out.
So it's a you're on a inflatable raft?
Yes, you're on a raft. Yeah, this is at Six
Okay.
Flags. This is at Six Flags Whitewater. Different place than Six Flags over Georgia.
But
Okay,
it
so
is,
it's not
it's
in the park.
I'm guessing it's called Python because it looks like a snake,
I gotcha.
When you hear plunge, you think it's going to be one of those fast ones. So Six Flags has 2 parks. They have the regular Six Flags over Georgia theme park that has a Hurricane Harbor water park within it that opens Memorial Day. So they do have a water park in it. Separately, they actually have a water park called Whitewater. It's in a different location. That it is just water rides, wave pool, the whole 9 yards.
Can we talk about Memorial Day?
Yeah, sure.
Why in the world is Atlanta, Georgia water park opening Memorial Day? That thing could be open right now. You got the heat. Is it because of the school kids or what?
No,
it's got to be
the
that,
water,
right?
Tom. The water is so cold. I'm telling you, there's no way I would get on a Six Flags water ride right now, or the water is so cold in Atlanta Memorial Day. It takes several weeks to heat up.
This past weekend,
it's been
Water
warm,
Country USA in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, opened this past weekend. There's no way Virginia is warm. I don't know, but you're in Atlanta, and did they close on Labor Day? Like, does that water park close on Labor Day?
Around that time, it sure does. And inside Six Flags, the one inside Six Flags shuts around that time too. Yeah, they might be open a weekend or two, but
Virginia does the same thing. I think it's all about school, but still, it's still the face of the sun hot, like a month after Labor Day, and they shut all water, all pools, all water stuff, all shuts down. Like, what's going on? Like, that's why I like being in Florida now, because nothing's like. I go to the beach now. I can go to any water. Well, that's not 100% true. Adventure Island in Tampa, they do shut down during the winter season. And, obviously Disney, they shut down one of their water parks. They alternate, but you can always go to a water park year round. It's just absurd, these southernish states, including Atlanta, where they wait till Memorial Day to open their water park when you're like 90 degrees for a month leading up to that. It's like, oh, just open it up, please, for love of God, open up your water park and don't close down on Labor Day for whatever. Just please, like the house where I used to live, Labor Day, they shut down. Oh my Lord! Like the next 4 weeks, it's still 90+ degrees and the pools are all closed.
And it's like Whitewater opened last weekend or the weekend before, Dave? Was it last weekend or
I think last weekend.
Last weekend they actually opened. I think they shut. I actually think they shut because of having folks to work, and when the kids go in school, it's kind of like Six Flags. Can you go daily now to Six Flags? Daily? Because at one point it was just weekends, and then
I think after the water park inside of it, or the park.
No,
itself?
The park. Is it open daily right now?
I don't think it's daily until after Memorial Day.
Yeah, I think it is something to do with the school calendar. I'd have to look it up though. I'm going to look right now. Yeah.
How about April? I'm sure April they're open during the week for.
They were for spring break.
Just for spring break, Atlanta spring break.
Yeah.
All right.
That's crazy.
Checking that. Hey, if you're joining on the replay, make sure and give us a thumbs up. If you're new, welcome. Yeah, if you like the theme, if you like the content, consider subscribing and leave a comment. What did you find interesting in the talk tonight? Did you like the tech tip? Did you not like the tech tip?
Do you like us? Do you not like us?
Why is everyone wearing Halloween shirts?
I know that. We didn't even talk about how. So Six Flags is only open weekends until Memorial Weekend, and then it's open every day.
Really? What they close down? They still close down like mid-August for the weekends?
last year it went through
After Labor Day.
September or something, and then I don't know if I have.
I could have swore a couple of years ago I was looking to come down, and like the last couple of weeks of August, they weren't open during the week. Like they were shut. I was like, what in the world's going on? I still want to come.
They're open daily till Labor Day, so.
Yeah, they're not. Their calendar isn't built out into September, so I can't.
I'm gonna find some weekend that has a cheap flight flying into Atlanta, and I'm coming up. How far is Atlanta Airport to Six Flags?
Not very, less than an hour.
Okay, all right. I'm doing
depending on traffic, which I got to say that for everything in Atlanta, but
I'm doing it. I'm making a day trip. I'm coming up.
When you come though, it'll be very hot. That's really not the time.
Well, I mean,
July at Six Flags.
I'm in Orlando, so I'm
That's
used
true.
to it.
That's true.
I'm good. It'll be fine. Yeah. 100% this year. Cause even though I'm only paying like $6 and change for my annual pass or my membership to Six Flags, I want to kill it. I want to get rid of it. And I can't until I step foot in that damn park. I've been paying for it for years. I got to now.
Well, anytime you want to come.
Yes.
All right, Tom. Well, I'm going to start wrapping up here. We've been on about an hour and a half.
Sure.
Be respectful of people's time. But thanks, everybody, for joining.
Wow.
I appreciate it so much. Tom, just last quick plug for your YouTube and podcast channel.
Yeah, the podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, Vacationeers, theme parks, and more. Go find it today. It is a great time. We will be, I think we might be recording early this week, either tomorrow or the next day. I have to find out when Ian doesn't work. And like I said, I just recorded a segment with Kennywood Josh. So that will be on an upcoming episode as well. Very, very good interview with him. So check that out. Also, Vacationeers Podcast, the YouTube channel. We have a ton of POVs. We were saying earlier, we were in Hawaii last year, cruising. I don't even know. Anything we've done on vacation, there's a YouTube piece. There's a segment in the YouTube on it. Different theme parks, different stuff like that. So check it out today as well. I greatly appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like, tell a friend, do all that stuff, because it would really help to grow the channel. I am rededicating myself to the YouTube channel to try to get to 500 subscribers, then 1,000, into infinity and beyond. So I would greatly appreciate it. I would super duper thank you, Karki, for sending that link out to the universe. Hopefully everyone will like it. But yeah, no, I thank you guys, because you guys really, I think you were the first people that reached out to the podcast, and then after you, then other people started reaching out too. So I think you're the ones who got the took the first step. So I appreciate that, and you guys are always so much fun. I can't believe we still have yet to hook up, other than that one time in Santa Claus, Indiana. So we definitely got to do that, whether it be in Atlanta or here in Orlando. I look forward to it greatly. But thank you guys so much for having me on. And you guys are always welcome to be on anything that I do, whether it be the podcast, YouTube. Anytime you guys want to just jump on and be part of it, you have an open invitation for sure. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Tom. We enjoy being on your channel and your podcast, whatever it is that you're doing. So welcome in Movie Mania Nick. We're just wrapping up here. Tom just gave a plug for his channel and podcast. So check him out. Let's get him to 500 subscribers. He's close. So go head on over there and check out his YouTube channel, and then check out his podcast on Red Circle or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And I like it because Tom covers theme parks, but different theme parks. And while you're in Orlando, you just recently got a Disney daily pass, right?
Yeah, the midweek pass. Yep.
So you hadn't been there for a little while.
Yeah. I tried. I totally epic fail Friday night. I went to Epcot. I wanted to ride Ratatouille, which I never rode. I got in line for that. And then after about waiting a half hour, they evacuated the line because it broke down. And then I waited for Harmonious. So at 9:00, they announced that due to weather, they're going to postpone it. They did that till 9:30. At 9:30, they made the 15-minute announcement, like the hey, in 15 minutes, Harmonious is going to happen, and everyone broke up and cheered, everyone's out happy, clapping. 5 minutes later, Harmonious is closed or canceled for tonight due to weather.
Was there ever any weather? Did it rain?
No. There was weather. Yes, there was rain. It was raining pretty heavy at one point, but the whole time we waited, you could see lightning and stuff going on. So, I mean, there was definitely weather in the area, but it was weird that like literally a couple minutes before they canceled it, they ran the, hey, in 15 minutes, we're going to start Harmonious. So yeah, everyone got excited because before, for the whole half hour, it was saying due to weather, tonight's showing of Harmonious will be postponed. So the two new things I wanted to do, I could not do, but I do have the midweek pass. I can go anytime I want. I'm literally like 5 miles from the park. I can be there at any time. So I will see that stuff, but it was just a little disappointing to say the least.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap up. Tom,
Yeah,
thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm used to being on your podcast.
When we record podcasts, it's like 2 hours, guys. And I guess some of them you release that long, and Dave's like, oh my God, you have to stop. The place is really quiet.
Well, I give her the wrap-up side. It's like,
and I keep going.
Yeah, it's like, all right, so Tom, you stay in the green room. Thank you for being on so much. I'm gonna punt you to the green room here.
And really? You are
gonna be in the green room. It's
oh
fine.
My gosh!
Thanght you for being on, Tom. Appreciate
it. He's literally removing him.
All right,
oh my God!
All right. He's in the green room. Tom's fine. Tom is not hurting anyway. I promise you. We're Adventures by D. Thank you for joining our live stream. I'm Dave. This is my lovely and talented wife, Chris. Family-friendly vloggers from the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes, we all wore Halloween shirts and never explained why. Just we love Halloween.
I like it. It's fun. Halloween isn't just a day; it's a lifestyle.
That's right.
Plus Christmas is too.
Look out for our Stranger Things vlog premiering tomorrow. All the filming locations from season 1 and 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's premiering. Watch it anytime after that. Get you ready for season 4 coming out Memorial Day on Netflix. Anything else you want to plug one last time, Chris?
I don't think so. Just be on the lookout because we're going to have some stuff coming out. We're going down to Wild Adventure very soon in South Georgia, and we'll have some other stuff coming, and hopefully we'll have a trip to Universal sometime soon too.
All right.
It's dark green room.
So thanks for joining. Give us a thumbs up if you'd like it. If you're on Team Replay, let us know. Let us know you like the live stream. Give it a thumbs up. Lets YouTube know we're doing a good job. And if you're new, welcome in. I hope you like the live stream. We do have a couple more planned. Set your reminders. Go to our channel. And I think that's about it. I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. What's left of it here on the East Coast. Sunday, it's getting after 9. So.
And thanks for watching.
Yes, thanks so much for watching, Chris. And what do we say at the end of our videos?
What do we say? And may the adventures be with you.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and
ringing a bell
so you'll be notified of our next upload. And as always, may the adventures be with you.